Hey folks, how you doing? Hope you folks are fine. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. I'm gonna talk about something today that would probably turn out a lot better if people put their biases aside. You know, put your biases aside, and it improves understanding about anything, really. But okay, we'll get with this. It's about the mother's boy. Okay. So this takes us back to the first humans, really. Yeah. Well, we can go back. We can say we're the first humans. Okay. Here, the female had both male and female reproductive organs. She did both. Okay. She did her own fertilizing alone. Now, you say, well, where does this idea come from? Well, it comes from the mythology. That's that's what I'm about. And so this is where it comes from. You see what I mean? And when you go into the mythology, in order to understand, or any religious scripture as far as that goes, in order to understand what's going on, you must put certain biases behind you. You must go in with a clear mind, unaffected by past teachings. You see what I mean? And you must, if possible, reduce your thinking. Don't think too much when you're trying to understand something. So the mother's boy. Sometimes he is shown as a child, coming forth, or pictured as a red child, painted red. Okay. But the mother's boy, okay, actually never saw the light of day. He remained in the mother. You see? He wasn't born into the world for millions of years, probably. A long time. Okay? So he's called the mother's boy because the mother fertilized her own ovum with her own semen. The semen was referred to as the mother's boy. The male in the mother. The male child in the mother, okay, was supposed to be, her fertilizer, okay? So now, it wasn't until many, many years later, maybe a few million years later, that the mother started producing children as male and female as individual entities. Originally, she was producing androgynous types like her, children with both male and female reproductive organs. But the time came, probably as a result of cosmic order sequence, where she went through the change where she started producing male and females. Okay. Eventually, okay, the males grew in strength and in numbers. And in terms of strength, the females were a little weaker. So the boys actually took from the mother, or her semen, and her male hormones, much of them, like testosterone, etc. He takes the majority of all that. So he becomes stronger. Once he realizes this, he begins to take over. This is many, many years after the females first came on or evolved in this planet. So there was battles fought between the androgynous type female and the males, because when the changeover came, it didn't happen just overnight. It took time for the change to become more or less complete as it is today. Nature takes its time, you see. And they fought wars between the androgynous type female and the males. Not the female, but who she was giving birth to also, but the male. One of the problems was that the male tended towards the androgynous type, the mother. Okay? And the male wanted the female, okay, for his own purposes of reproduction, etc. You see? Which happened, you know, but this wasn't with all the females. Not all the females, let's say, rejected the male, you know what I mean? But the androgynous type did. You know, she didn't cohabit with the male, period. She did it on her own. She didn't need the male. The male needed the female. Like today. he still does. Okay. And she needs him for reproduction. Okay. But so after these wars, etc., the male, well, he took over. You know, many of the androgynous types were killed in these on these battles and so forth and so on. And we hear of this in somewhat later times. A group of women in Europe, even as late as the Greek period, you know, Alexander the Great, back in this period. Because with the Romans, some of the Roman emperors commented on these women. But these were actually women. They weren't in the androgynous type. But these women sort of had heard stories or knew something of the androgynous type. That androgynous type didn't die out completely. We have some women today who are what I call the androgynous type. Women who have both male and female reproductive organs. But very few. Then there are women who can produce semen. They probably do it as a result of maybe cosmic sequence. They don't do it all the time. When I say a result of cosmic sequence, cosmic change that has an effect on the human female system, reproductive system, may occur from time to time, okay, periodically, not too often. It's a rare occurrence these days for a woman to reproduce a child on her own. But anyway, time moves on, and even to this day, okay, the male, okay, sort of has an inclination, okay, towards returning to the mother. Okay. And what I mean by that is that the inclination is not that he becomes a woman. no, that doesn't happen, as far as I know. Uh, the inclination has to do with returning to the mother in terms of becoming her internal mechanism of fertilization. Now he's the external. He's outside of her, but she needs him to fertilize, you know. But he has an inkling to return to his beginning, and that is to become her boy. It's just referred to that way, as her boy, because he was inside of her. He was her semen. He still is.